If you're watching this video, there's a good chance that you have never been in a relationship. Speaking for myself, that is why I am making this video. For one, we all go through different phases at different times of our lives. Someone will enter a key relationship when they're 18 and get married when they're 21, right? First of all, that's their life. That's their decision. And second of all, oftentimes that doesn't work. There are people who have warned you, and to be honest, I've been warned. Hey, when you do not commit to people so blindly, especially that early on in your life. I think especially if you are in your 20s, this is a time where you're kind of exploring just who you are. You're reflecting back on your younger years, on your youth, on your childhood, adolescence, what have you, and trying to grow an understanding of what you like, your passions, maybe your sexuality, and all these sorts of things. And that takes time. And sometimes it happens quick, but for other people, they can be a little bit of late bloomers, and it takes a while for them to ultimately figure that out. I've never had the most charisma when speaking to women. I've never been outgoing per se. I grew up in a very small, quiet town as an only child, and that sort of reflected me, my personality over the years. I am currently 23 years old, and it was about 2020, obviously when COVID happened, that I was sort of entering college. I at least was there for a year or two, but I was in a community college, and my plan was ultimately to go to a university. And I didn't make too many friends while I was at this community college, but everything shut down out of nowhere, right? And so I kind of felt like I lost out a little bit on the social opportunities. And so what that allowed me to do was go on more of an inward journey. I delved into psychedelics. I went into spirituality, started making a ton of videos on this channel. I got big time into writing. I wrote a couple of books. And so over time, I really was focused on myself, that solitude path. And I was like, hey, I don't need a relationship, screw all that. But then inevitably comes a point where I kind of want to dabble into it a little bit. I want to explore it. I want to see what it's like, see what love is all about. Now, while love is so divine, it's beautiful, and I don't think anything can quite equate to the feeling of just falling for someone. It's still something that is highly romanticized in society and put on a pedestal to the point where it almost seems like if we are single, we're doing something wrong, right? It's a societal norm to just get into a relationship. But not everyone's ready when they're 21. When they're 23 or 25. Some people might not be ready in their 30s or 40s. Everyone's different, man. There's nothing wrong with you if you have never been in a relationship. And I've tried my luck at dating apps, which I've had some success with, but I just haven't really felt like genuinely pushing anything to the next level. Honestly, I think it's better to just have a sense of faith when it comes to these things. It's the one area of life, I know it might sound a little bit hippie, but you have to understand a lot is out of your control. And when it comes to love and romance, things really often have to align for something to happen. This is the problem I think a lot of people have, is that because of that idea of being so pedestalized, of being in a relationship, they force their way into them. They get into these relationships, and whether or not it's an epiphany that hits them sooner or later, it ultimately doesn't work out. Whether or not they're compatible, whether or not they're ultimately ready for a relationship, sometimes you have a lot of trauma to heal. And oftentimes I feel like it's better to go through that process alone. When I'm having those shower thoughts or whatever, I will really be intrigued by the idea of having someone that I love. My goal down the line is to have a family of my own one day. But I also try to really appreciate where I currently stand. I have the ability to just explore, right? To tap into those things and to be free to do whatever I want to do, whether it's with this channel, whether it's with people, whether it's in my anything in life. And I'm not saying that you can't do that in a relationship, but people can tend to use love as an escape. It's almost like this Romeo and Juliet fantasy that is a form of escape from our problems in the day-to-day life that we have to go through. And sometimes being single, you can have a clearer view of that. And it's a huge commitment. That's the thing. You can fantasize about the idea of being with someone and loving someone and having them love you and, having sex and being intimate and a couple that goes out and does great things, but there's much more to it. There's a dark side to relationships. There's many challenges that you have to go through. And it's something you really have to commit to. And I will admit personally that I can be a little bit picky with people. I don't want to just get into a relationship for the idea of it. I don't want to just get into a relationship because I'm horny, man. I want to actually find someone that I really feel like is worth it. And that's a process that's taking time. I'm not going to sit up here and set the expectation that by 25, oh, I'm going to be in a relationship. By next month, I'm going to be in a relationship. By 30, I'm going to be in a relationship. I'm just letting life take me where it wants to. And that's kind of the approach that I have adopted, and something that I would suggest to other people is hey, that's not everything you've ever needed. It's not going to complete you as an individual. You have to find passions and love and gratitude for what you have right now, for what is currently in your life. And something along the lines of a relationship, it will flow into your life at a very synchronized time. If you really want it, which most people probably do in the long term, I can say that chances are you're going to get it. I haven't looked at it from the lens of I'm screwed, I'm never going to get a relationship, it's never going to happen. I trust that it will happen at some point in time. But for right now, let me just enjoy life. Let me appreciate what I have. Let me love every single day and what I'm doing, and not get too caught up in that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and can kind of resonate with it, because I think for anybody who's a certain age, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, man, any age, and you're watching this video and you're thinking about why you've never been in a relationship, it's something that we can kind of relate to, because you're not alone in not being in that situation. There's a lot of reasons behind it. There's more reasons that I didn't even necessarily get into in this video. I've talked about on other videos about my sex journey and some of the things that I've had to deal with through porn addiction and things of that nature. And that's another catalyst for it. But we all have our own path. And so focus on that, love yours, and much love. Will from Shadow Ascent, signing out.